Hey everyone, wow. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Promised Land podcast live edition. I'm seeing that you're already in the comment section. Jonathan is there asking who genuinely believes Jadon Sancho will accept this Roma offer. Josh says definitely not. He's going to make us life even more difficult just to spite us. Like, look, I'll talk about that over the course of the podcast today. Will he accept this? It looks like a good offer. Looks like a good offer. You would hope he does, you know? As I said on Twitter, for his sake and for everybody else's sake, you'd really hope that Jadon Sancho just goes and accepts this and we can have a clean break here. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I'm Scott Saunders on the Promised Land podcast. You can subscribe to the audio. Link is in the description. I've just released a new podcast, which is going to essentially outline what I do in this YouTube live episode. So you can go check those out on Spotify and Apple and those kinds of places. But if you want to join on the live stream, get involved in the live chat. Jonathan is the first to like the video. Please like the video. If you're here, if you're watching, get involved in the live chat as well. Billy T says, evening, Scott. Evening to you too. It doesn't seem like evening though. It's like I'm still at my parents' house at the moment, not in my own property. I'm waiting to move into a new property. And the sun is literally like right over there, right in my eyes. So we will see. Jadon Sancho says, yes. Have you seen that, Jadon? Is that actually happening? I hope it's actually happening. I've seen that he's opened the doors to it happening. But has he actually accepted it? I'm getting carried away. Right, anyway. So let's talk today about Carlos Baleba, Jadon Sancho a little bit. I might do a little bit about Marcus Rashford's interview as well that he did with Gary Lineker, which released yesterday. Yeah, let me know, you guys, let me know where you're watching from. That's really interesting. Suvik says, it's finally time. I don't think Roma make a bid without his approval. Romano said he's open to joining Roma, which checks out. Suvik, Jadon says, watch him from Zambia. Aaron says, Thailand. Good to have you here, guys. And yeah, let me know where you're watching from if you are watching. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already as well. Leek, Staffordshire, England. Interesting. We've got the good thing about this is all around the world as well. Albufeira, really? I've been there once. Imagine getting rid of Sancho, Sesko, and Mbumo, Cunha, and Baleba in one window. Chicago for Suvik, sunny Manchester for Josh. We're a global, exactly, Jonathan. We are a global family. Marcus from Toronto. Good to know, guys. I'm currently in South Wales, and this sun, like I say, this hasn't happened until I just started recording the podcast, so I look like absolute crap at the moment. But anyway, Josh says, is it too much to ask to get rid of the bomb squad and bring in Baleba and Lamans? I don't think it is. I'm hopeful, still hopeful. Darren from Manchester as well. Nathan says, South Africa, Johannesburg, waiting for the here we go. Calgary, Alberta, Canada as well. Cool, man. Cool. So I'm guessing that like timings of when I record stuff is the best time is going to be different for everybody. I'm trying to sort out this light, but you'll just have to bear with me because the sun is mental. Yeah. Right. Anyway, yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that jazz. And if you're watching for the first time, subscribe and get in the comment section and tell me where you're watching from as well. Let's talk a little bit about the Carlos Baleba latest then. So how are we feeling about this? So are we believing more today? Are we believing more? Are we thinking that this is going to get done? I have seen before I started recording this that from a couple of guys that I know in the industry, it does seem like this one isn't as far ahead with Carlos Baleba as it was made out to be earlier on. There was a report from a Cameroonian account on social media which said that United had agreed this deal with Brighton for 112 million euros for Carlos Baleba. And then you do, sometimes it's been a weird summer, you do get some of those where the report comes out and then you think, nah, that's going to be nonsense. Like it was with the Baleba stuff in the first place. And then you get a backup of the report from like someone you really trust. And it's been a summer like that for a few different deals. So when that came out, there was an element of, oh, is it actually? Because we haven't heard much around this for days, but that came out and obviously, I think people lost their heads a little bit, but I think everybody was waiting really for that kind of next backup of the story to say that this has actually progressed. We've had the opposite. I think it's been from a couple of guys that I know in the industry. Rahman Osman, lovely man, can confirm the United and Brighton are so far apart at the moment. Nothing close as of today. Just talk, and nothing. Nathan Salt said this from the Mail as well, that it's not as advanced, just to say, as even Rio Ferdinand even Rio Ferdinand has now just quote tweeted a couple of minutes ago. The official announcement will follow later. It doesn't seem like we're there yet, guys. So let's see how this goes. But maybe Jadon Sancho will be out. Let's talk about Baleba first and run through my process on this. So what we do know is that talks are on. I think United and Brighton are talking. I think we've had that this afternoon from Ben Jacobs saying that United are talking to Brighton about this. As far as I've read over the course of the afternoon, Brighton have a price in mind for United to get to, but they're not actually telling United what it is. So it's up to United to kind of bid in the dark or bid blind. And if they come in with a derisory offer or whatever it is, I'm thinking if you go too low, that Brighton are going to be like, nah, get out. This is what we actually want. We're looking for closer to 150. But I think if you get in the ballpark of what Brighton are looking for, maybe you can open talks about how this deal is structured, how much it actually is, what's in add-ons and all this kind of stuff. So we will see how this goes. But it's been quite quiet on that front over the last few days. I think we've all been waiting really for United to get some sales out the door, because we know that obviously they don't have too much money at the moment. Although we have had some suggestions over the last few days from, I think The Athletic wrote this Monday or Tuesday, the credit facility is in play and has been extended. So you do think, are United actually going to front load this summer and go and get Carlos Baleba now and commit that money down, knowing that they trust themselves later to recoup that money through either sales? There's obviously lots to do still. Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, Malacia, Rasmus Højlund, lots of players that are still to go. You put all those names together and you say, if United could actually sell all those in one summer, that should pay for Baleba in itself. They've done everything else, but they may take time. They might be done by the end of the month. Some might be loans. Some might be January. Some might be next summer. There's Marcus Rashford for 30 million euros next summer as well if he joins Barcelona. So there's a bit of money coming in from some homegrown players potentially. But the credit facility does seem to be in place. So does that mean that United have a little bit more confidence to go about putting bids in and committing that money down on the table, knowing that they trust themselves later to recoup that money through savings on contracts? You've got to remember, Casemiro's out of contract next summer. Jadon Sancho's out of contract next summer. Marcus Rashford could leave the club permanently for Barcelona next summer. Lots and lots going on. The wage maybe even Bruno Fernandes goes next summer. We'll wait and see. But there's news about sponsorship deals over the course of the week as well. All quite interesting. Are United going to find a training ground sponsor? Are United going to find a training kit sponsor? Word of like 70 million worth of sponsorship deals has been found by United since around April, if I remember rightly, according to The Athletic today or yesterday as well. And, it does seem like United are working like a bit more of a functional business at the moment. So that's good to see. And I would have a little bit more trust on United putting stuff on a credit card, knowing that they have a plan to go and recoup that. Whereas the credit card previously was, crap, panic button, let's go and buy players now and not have a clue how to pay this back later on. That was how it worked for me with Anthony and Casemiro and all the signings that they've done in the past that they're still paying for now. But let me know what you guys think. I'll come to the comments in a second. What would your opening bid be? I've just seen Jonathan put something in there. I've seen a few numbers floating around. I'm going to actually jump into those comments now, but let me know if you're watching now. Let me know what you think a good opening bid should be. But I'll run through some of you guys and your comments coming in. Please like the stream if you've not done so already. Got a fair few people watching. Please, let's get the likes up to the equivalent in amount of people that are watching. If you are watching, please like the video and please get in the comment section as well. Right, where did I get to? I was asking where people were from, wasn't I? Jonathan is worried about jinx mode. I honestly don't even like talking about or watching about Baleba in case I somehow jinx it. Don't stop believing, says T2. The comment isn't coming up. There it is. But I reckon this gets done. I'm still confident it will. You just kind of get that gut feeling, really, don't you? That the way that United have behaved for the entire summer so far, it does seem as though they know what they're doing. They have a bit of confidence. Would they even go into this without thinking that they can get this deal done? I don't think they'd, the way that they've been operating, I don't think they'd go into this without actually feeling like they had a real chance. But all I've seen to see from everybody is, like Gary Neville on the Overlap pod or whatever, I don't think that deal's going to get done. We've seen loads of people saying it's unlikely. It is unlikely at present because United have pled that they haven't had any money for ages and that we know that they need to get rid of players. But, we'll see. And I saw the news. Now I'm a believer. There we go. For Marcus. Brighton will sell. It's their business model. Yeah, I think so. And maybe I'll scroll through now. And Tulip is here. Says, what's good? Opening bid should be 75 plus 15 in add-ons. I do maybe... We're all kind of like we're playing Football Manager. There's a new Football Manager coming, by the way, which I'm very excited about. I'm thinking maybe go in... I would maybe say that and maybe go 80 plus 15 in add-ons. I think that's where I would start. Because you want to be in the 90 million territory, but I think that's... Or 80 plus 10 or 80 plus 5, I would say. Or 80 plus 15, I would say. Maybe that would be the right way to go for me. But let me know what you think. Habib says, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show, mate. Sancho, get out of here. I think everybody feels like that, don't they, at the moment? If we put in a bid totaling 100 million, can Brighton afford not to sell? What if Baleba has a down year? That's a very good point. What if he gets injured? No guarantee they get their bidding war next summer. I think the feeling is at the moment that Man City, Liverpool, and all these clubs will come in, and maybe people will think that, or maybe United don't have a chance of getting in next year, especially if the season doesn't go to plan. With all that competition, the way that United have been trending over the years, there's no guarantee that they have a good season this season. So now is the time to go get him. But there's also this to think about for them as well. What if he has a down year? What if he gets injured? It's a really good point. Tulip says 90 million package is a good starting point. I agree with that. I just think 75 million guaranteed is a little bit too low, personally. I'd say 80 to 85 million fee plus then add-ons. But these comments aren't showing up. United has also done 3 partnership deals for a total of 70 million. So yeah, the money is there. Yep, completely. I might even go 90 plus 5 to 10. Yeah, Ben. 70 million in sponsorship deals so far since April, I think, has been put out there over the last couple of days. I can't remember whether it was today or yesterday. The days are blending together. Tulip says, we need to use all these loopholes other teams have exploited all these years. We're late to the party. Yeah, absolutely. We don't know as it stands. Is Coca-Cola, Soakin, and somebody else that we don't know? It's unknown, as has been pointed out there. Can we stop with the Bruno blasphemy, please? He's been our best player for years. Who's been blaspheming with Bruno? Hopefully nobody. I haven't done it, have I? I did say a little bit earlier, maybe he will leave next summer. I still think that might happen. But Edward from Kenya joining in and watching. Welcome to the show, mate. I wouldn't believe this, Jonathan. I wouldn't believe that just yet. Is what I'm hearing true about Baleba, please, bro? I don't think it is. Not at the moment, but I don't think it's one to just kind of lose all hope completely. I think it's a work in progress. I think just somebody's jumped the gun. Or maybe they know quite intimately actually what's happening and it hasn't reached everybody else yet. But yeah, I don't think it's true at the moment. Did not realize you're an FM man, Scott. Glad to hear it. I have played FM since Championship Manager 0102. So it's been a long time. I'm old now. But yes, I've had some fantastic saves in the past. Fantastic saves. And United would make a hell of a save for the start of the year, given they haven't got Europe, I think, for the new game. I think United paid a blinder telling Baleba not to speak to the media. It will allow United and Brighton to get this done. I would just think of maybe just pinch of salt. I think the good account that or the account that like broke the story in the first place, I think is taking like every possible like opportunity now to make it known that, you know, this account is leading the story. I don't know. I think maybe just fall back on and wait for like the proper stuff to come out. But Jeff says here, United surprised us all summer, so I can't rule out Baleba. I'm happy with the direction. T2 says, Euro was unlikely. Look what happened there. Championship manager 95 onwards. Blimey. That's a hell of a stint, Jonathan. That is a hell of a stint. Let me know your best save. Right, let's have a look. Edward thinks it's going to be 90 or less for real, but 80 plus for sure. I think it'll be a record deal for United regardless, I think. If you include the add-ons, I think it'll be a record deal for United. T2 again says, it really feels like now or never for Baleba. We'll never have a clear run at him again. Agree completely. Let's leave the Glazer chat out of this, I guess. Yes, that's the way. That's the way to believe it. I think unless Romano or David Ornstein are coming out saying, "I'm not believing." I think you can believe. Just that it's more confidence that United can get this done. You just have to wait for the story to actually break. I do think a lot of this like really focuses on making sure that United actually think that they can get sponsorships in order or sales to the line of, or to the point of where they think that they can actually cash in on players and save a bit of money. I think that's going to be important. But once they've got that confidence that these are going to happen, maybe they can bid with confidence, if you know what I mean. Scott, welcome to the show, mate. What's the chance Sancho will actually leave with the alleged Roma bid? I don't want to put a percentage on it, but like he seems to have turned down everything else. Are Roma in Europe? I don't think they are they? 25-26 Europa League. I think Juventus are in the Champions League, aren't they? But yeah, Juventus are in the Champions League, but I think they've been waiting to sell players off first before going for Sancho. And now Roma have come out of nowhere. But I think there's some, just from the outside looking at this, like Roma have just employed Gasperini from Atalanta, haven't they? I think they've signed Evan Ferguson as well. It does seem like with the record that Gasperini's had over the last few years, it does seem like a fairly fun move for Jadon Sancho to do. Does seem like they'll play football the right way. It does seem like, I think the league might actually suit him. And Jonathan has said here as well, I generally think he'd do well in Serie A. Me too. I think he's got that kind of, that ability to dribble through players. He's got that good footwork. The pace of the game isn't quite as, quick or whatever. He'll have a bit more space. And I think that it's a good option for him. We'll wait and see. But yeah, lots of you like kind of throwing in your how long you played Football Manager and this kind of thing. Ben says CM2 for me. So you must be a little bit older than me. Yeah, I started out, I played like some kind of PC manager game, and then I bought Championship Manager 0102, the one with who was it? I remember Tonton Zola Mukoko absolutely ripped me up when he played for Derby, and then I did a bunch of saves so I could sign him, because I couldn't sign him by that point because he was worth too much money. Lots of stuff. Look, I think, guys, right, look, from what I've been talking about so far, let me run through this Sancho thing again. Everybody seems to know what's going on, but we know that Roma are interested, right? We know that Roma have. What I don't get, maybe you can kind of explain this to me, because I've been busy recording stuff and kind of planning all afternoon, so I don't know exactly what is the option at the moment. Whether this is a difference between United have. There's two options on the table, whether it's a loan and obligation plus a permanent option. I think that's what it is, right? Let me just dig into this. So Fabrizio Romano has said there's submitted an official bid. Permanent move for 20 million has been offered, while the club is also open with a loan for an option to buy. Sancho has opened the doors to Roma move, and the proposal is worth 20 million as a total package. Loan deal with obligation to buy proposal at easy conditions to activate the permanent deal. So which one is it? You know, I don't. Have you got? If you guys have got anything, I haven't really had the chance to skim through social media like throughout this afternoon because a lot of this stuff that was actually happening was happening while I was recording and doing the audio podcast. So that's kind of where I am with that at the moment. I'll talk about Sancho in a minute, but you guys are chatting about your football manager stuff. CM2 in 95 for me. Schmeichel left for Bayern after my first season. T2, I've never played CM in my life. It would take over my life. Yeah, it does. It does. Right. Okay. So Ben, let me just check this out now. So sorry, guys. I'm Googling stuff and searching stuff. While I'm trying to stream to you guys. Roma are now in club-to-club talks with different structures being explored after making an offer worth 20 mil. United prefer permanent exit. Roma have discussed buying Sancho outright as well. Look, okay, right. So let's just hope for everybody that United and Roma can come to a permanent agreement here. I think this is the best solution for everybody. Best solution for everybody is that a permanent transfer happens here. So Jadon Sancho can move on with his life and move on with his career. Manchester United can move on from having the financial commitment to pay Jadon Sancho for another year. And there's also the loan, the option to extend his contract for a further year as well, which is a terrifying thought, but it might actually work to United's advantage. And I'll talk about it in a second. But you just at this point, with the fact that Sancho's had Chelsea offer him, like they had an obligation on him. They paid 5 million to send him back because they couldn't come to agree personal terms with him. It is like, I'm really surprised still that didn't happen. You know, maybe it was his role in the team or the amount of money that Chelsea were offering him and the amount of a pay cut Sancho would have had to take at that point. I don't know. But you've had interest from Saudi Arabia, and I suppose like, in terms of the league and stuff, if you want to play in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, then I suppose you can understand why a lot of players have turned that move down. But there's been Juventus, there's been Borussia Dortmund, there's been Roma, there's been lots of clubs who've tried to take Jadon Sancho out. And I don't know what he wants. Does he want Italy? Does he want Roma? Does he want to play in the Champions League? You know, I don't think Roma are in the Champions League at the moment. So it's been dragging on too long, you know? It's been dragging on too long. And it's so frustrating for everybody. You just think like, why isn't this frustrating to you as a player as well? It's really kind of sad to see. Like he's so talented. He was so talented a few years ago, you know? He still has that talent, but it's just his career's kind of gone off piste for a few years now. And you just wish that, and maybe he does get this move before the end of the window and he can get his career back on track. But you just would have hoped that by now a move would have been sorted. And it's best for everybody, to be honest. It's best for Jadon Sancho to get a clean break from United. It's best for United to get Sancho off the wage bill. It's best for everybody. You guys watching, it's best for me. It's best for people who support United. It's best for people working at United. If we can get to this point where this so-called bomb squad is just out of the project and United are remunerated properly for it, and everybody can just move on, you know? Don't wish... well, if Sancho does leave, I wish him well. I hope he smashes it. If he goes to Italy and joins Roma, I hope he smashes it. But it is incredibly frustrating for everybody that this is still happening or we've had no resolution just yet. Jumping into your comments now. So... is it Jal? The loan with obligation is actually the best deal. So this is, I have a thought process here. And Ben has asked this question. How can a loan have an obligation if he's a free agent next summer? I don't understand that one. Let's see if anyone's pointed this out. T2 has said the +1 option is a red herring. Right. So for me, like, I don't know whether United would do this. But The loan with an obligation to buy doesn't make any sense, as has been pointed out in the comments. It doesn't make any sense if the player's out of contract in a year. But if it's actually an obligation and there's no penalty clause within it, like there was the first I've ever heard, like a penalty clause in a loan with obligation contract, there's no penalty clause in it. United may feel comfortable because they have a year's extension option in Jadon Sancho's contract. That is actually confirmed. That was confirmed when he signed. It was on the day he signed in the press release. Everything, it's all still there. United can extend this contract for Jadon Sancho for another year till 2027. You know all the risks that comes with that because he's a massive high earner. United it's not working for him. United don't want to do this or whatever. But if it does mean that they have a little bit of leverage here, then maybe it is a smart thing to just hang in there. Did you see it, like Ben? Did you see the reports like over the last couple of days that Sancho is willing to just wait this out and is willing to wait till January to, leave on a free transfer next summer? That is one of his kind of like bargaining chips. He could just sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to leave next summer. I can get a fat like signing on fee from any club that I join next summer." United quite clearly as well have this other option. Like it will hurt United in the end, but to counteract that and to counteract that threat, they can hang this there and say, "You can't do that because we'll extend your contract." And like he's not going to want to take 2 years surely to get his football career back on track. It's a hell of a lot different. What United can do, the reason why they could probably take that loan with an obligation is because they have that extension. They can use that to their own advantage in negotiations, I suppose, because they don't have to let him go for free next summer. As much sense as it would make and as terrifying a prospect and the thought that as that is, United could potentially use that to their own advantage in negotiations they have with the player or with another club. Because everybody wants resolution here, but United have to be smart at this. But yeah, like plus one, an extra year on those insane wages. Nobody wants to see that happen. Like absolutely not. A permanent deal for me is the best thing. Maybe if the obligation is triggered before his contract expires on the 30th of June, potentially, maybe. But then you got to ask the question, like why would that make any sense for Roma to do if they're going to pay for a player that's out of contract in 6 months? I don't know. And yeah, this is obviously the thing as well. Like triggering that would technically entitle Sancho to those wages for another year. And like that is something that I don't think anybody would really want to do, but it's a threat that you can technically use, I suppose. Probably just delays Roma having to stump up the cash this summer. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I think what I did see was that any loan with obligation to buy would be on easy to trigger terms for the obligation. So I don't know. We'll wait and see how this goes. Not really, Grace, but you do kind of get like a fair basis of what you can kind of expect that how much those players are taking home and what the kind of weight of the money that's going out is. Jonathan, fair point. Penalty clause was inserted because Chelsea secured the deal so late in the window they couldn't get a contract done with the obligation, which I now think may be a ploy by them. It was done on deadline day, I think, wasn't it? So, and also that's true as well. Extending the +1 means the amortization is reduced over the whole contract, meaning it opens up PSR space. Yeah, all true. Jacob, welcome, mate. Late to the stream, but this is turning into a good day. What you referencing the Sancho thing there? Hopefully, do you guys think he actually will leave? Do you actually think he will leave? Because I think most people are kind of just writing it off. I did tweet earlier, just accept it and move on for the sake of your own, for your own sake and everybody else's sake. Just go, Scrolling through my timeline at the moment to see if there's anything. I'll talk a little bit about, I've done Jadon Sancho. I've done a little bit of Carlos Baleba. For those of you who have joined late, I have already talked about Carlos Baleba. You might need to scroll back a little bit. I did that in the first 5-10 minutes of the podcast or whatever. There's a lot of anger towards Jadon Sancho here. I think everybody's just in the same case. Jadon Sancho, just leave the club at the moment. I think it's best for everybody. If he goes, it's best for the club if he goes. Get your career back on track. And like, I've got no problem saying, like, absolutely wish Jadon Sancho all the luck in the world. If he does leave, get back on track with your career. Hope you succeed. But like, it's not doing anybody any good for this situation to go on any longer. Rugby Itch says, hi Scott, hope all is well. Hope the Sancho deal goes through. Yes, absolutely. Ben says, like the stream. Afternoon, Jacob, like the stream. Yeah, please like the stream if you're here and you have, if you're new to the channel or whatever. This is the Promised Land podcast. So this is an audio podcast, which I'm just now opening a new YouTube channel for to chat about whatever's happening at United. And it's good. Like, all you guys jumping in the chat, really, really appreciate it. And please like the stream if you've not done so already. I would really, really appreciate if you did. Subscribe to the channel because I am trying my very best to get to the first little milestone on this channel of 1,000 subs. And I've only had 7 subscribers since I started recording this podcast. I hate to be the beggy guy who asks for subscribers, but honestly, I would really, really appreciate it if you could do so, because that's how YouTube channels grow, right? And what I try and do here is try and keep things never too high, never too low. So you can go back and watch what I did yesterday and drop the last video on the channel before I recorded this. I looked ahead to the new season. If you guys are on social media or whatever, I jumped on with Adam Joseph, who makes, is quite vocal on X, really good value on his account, jumped on the podcast with me. In the last episode, we looked ahead to Manchester United's season to come, expectations, what we think United will end up doing, what is there reason to be optimistic? Is it dangerous to be optimistic? Where we think United will finish in the league, lots of that kind of stuff. And the transfer business so far and all this kind of stuff as well. So go back and check that one out if you're new to the channel. Also, like this video and hit subscribe and get in the comment section as well. As Jonathan says, 88 watching, but only 34 likes. Come on, like and subscribe. Yes, please do that. Loan deal, Kerwin says, loan deal after this season, Sancho will enter the market as a free agent. I'm thinking bigger signing on fees. Yes, completely. That will work to his advantage. That's why I was saying earlier that United do have that other thing as well, and say, hey, we got another year in you if we want to trigger this. So actually get a move on and find a move. Otherwise, we're going to keep you here and we're not going to play you. You will remain in the bomb squad. It would work against United, but it's still something that they could use in leverage against Sancho. T2 says, to be fair to Sancho, Chelsea apparently wanted him to accept 90 to 100k. In his position, I wouldn't have taken that. Chelsea were playing games. Yeah. And Chelsea have been good at getting their wage structure in place. And we know about the lengths of the contracts and these kinds of things. Ultimately, that they have so much flexibility and they are able to kind of shift players out. And they have some problems with offloading players in certain situations. But like United are finding this out now, or have been over the last few years. Don't pay players more money than any other club is able to afford. Like no 250s, no 300k a week contracts, because they're incredibly difficult to get off the books because no other clubs can actually take that kind of money. Fred says, is it a matter of saving face with both sides here? I think so. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Fred says, keep the grind going, Scott. Thanks, Jonathan. Always appreciate you, mate. Always appreciate you, Ben, as well. Welcome, Stephanie. Nice to see folks recommended. Stephanie, welcome to the show. Saying, Fred, found you, buddy. Personally, I love pettiness to counter pettiness. Are you kind of... Are you referring to what I just said there, or have I missed something? Are you referring to what I just said with the pettiness of offering up the contract extension to keeping their player no vocal? I don't know. But yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Right. Let's anything you guys want me to talk about on the podcast as well, just or the live stream as well, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, the 1-year extension. It is petty, but United have to be clever. They have to be petty. They have to be clever. if they're showing that they're not going to take any nonsense anymore, like with the Garnacho thing as well, right? If you are literally threatening to sit there and not play football for 6 to 12 months and you can sit on your backside because you want to join Chelsea, we'll entertain that. If Chelsea don't pay us the money that we want, we'll entertain that, and you can sit there. We'll call your bluff, you know? So United have to be clever. They know, I know that they have bad contracts, and this Jadon Sancho one is incredibly tough as well. But as Jonathan says here, can't let all players hold all the power. I do think that will change down the line. Right, so we talk about this. I haven't talked about the Marcus Rashford interview that he did yet. Actually, maybe I'll address this rugby-ish one first. If we don't get Baleba, I think United should turn their heads to Adam Wharton. Personally, I think it should be just Baleba. I think they should get Baleba. Get Baleba, no matter what it is at this point. To me, I think Wharton is a good player, but I think what United lack in that middle of the pitch is that physicality, that ability to drive through the middle, that ability to carry the ball. I think Wharton's not quite the same physically. He's a bit of a different player. Can still play in a 2, obviously. I think Wharton would be definitely a player that United should look at in the future, but I think Baleba's kind of one of a kind. That's why we're one of those very few midfielders that are that kind of like modern type of Premier League midfielder that can do everything. And you need that. And I think Wharton's slightly different to me with that. And I think what United lack in that midfield area is presence, physical presence, like ability to tackle, speed around the park, strength, height, all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I did say, is there any update on Kone? Club said he was okay. I would presume he'd be out of action for a little while, Frankie. I don't know. But it is good to see that I think the injury... Well, last I saw, he was at home. I think he went into hospital. But he is at home, I think, and trying to recover. So fingers crossed he does speedy recovery for him, because that didn't sound good at all and looked like potentially a really tough situation. So fingers crossed for a speedy recovery for Sekou Kone. Really highly rated, obviously, as being around the first team picture for United. Yeah, Stephanie, it is a good channel. Honestly, it is a good channel. I'm trying my best to talk into a camera lens and talk to you guys in the comment section. But you can actually, Stephanie, if you are new here, I would like to explain again. Links are in the description. If you want an audio podcast, I am on Spotify and Apple as well. This kind of stuff, but in much more of a bite-sized, condensed, like half an hour version of the podcast where I talk about the same stuff on here. Or you can jump in here and you can get in the comment section, and your newest subscriber to get you to 1,000. Yes, thank you very much. If you're still here and you haven't subscribed, please do. I need to get to that. I need like 49 more, and there's 89 of you here. I'd imagine most of you are subscribed already. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Marcus Rashford's comments, because let me know what you guys think in the comments. And Niche Fan, hello, thank you for liking. If you have Stephanie on your side, your gold, says Marcus. Good to know. Welcome, Stephanie. And yes, Scott is great. Never too high, never too low, and definitely non-toxic community. That's what I try and do here. So, yes. Like, if you like it, please subscribe. Anyway, Marcus Rashford did an interview. Yeah, soggy. We did have a chat about it's not through that. Maybe I'll throw a message out now. If you would like it back, then I still am in touch with the guys. You know, it would be starting from zero again, but you know, we'll see. Ben says, I thought Rashford assessed how things have been going at United pretty well, but getting him away is also part of the rebuild. Sorry, Marcus. So there's an interesting line that he said, like generally with what Marcus Rashford said about United and the line about Klopp and Liverpool, now he didn't win anything for a few years. I agreed with most of what he said. I think he was absolutely spot on with what he said. Jacob says here, I like what he said for the most part. He said which a lot, which I liked. We're still careful to only tell part of the story. Yeah, I think no acceptance on his part of the problem. I think the thing for me that stood out really, I'll read out this bit now because he was right about mostly everything, bar one thing for me. So he said, people say we've been in a transition for years. To be in a transition, you have to start the transition. So it's like the actual transition's not started yet. That's the line that got me. So I'll come back to that in a second. To start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. So this is the thing that I feel. It's not easy because if it's not going well, the fans demand change. But this is where I speak about being realistic with what your situation is. I feel like we've had that many different managers and different ideas and different strategies in order to win. You end up in the middle of no man's land, essentially. And that analysis, I think, is correct. Bar one line. I will come back to that line. The analysis of the situation about United changing managers and chopping from philosophy to philosophy to philosophy, from Moyes to Van Gaal to Mourinho to Solskjaer to who came after Solskjaer? Rangnick, was it? Was it Rangnick after Solskjaer? Ten Hag and all of this. And you jump from philosophy to philosophy, but United as a football club never really had an aligned strategy from the top over that entire period. The thing that I think has got me on this, where he said the actual transition's not started yet, that's the thing that I didn't agree with. I agree with pretty much everything apart from the thing that he said. It's like the actual transition's not started yet. To start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. Ironically, I think that that's exactly the state that we're in now. That's exactly the position that United are in now. They have made a plan. They are sticking to it. Marcus Rashford was a victim of that. Whether it was his decision to go, whether it was Amrin's decision for him to go, whatever the reasons are, discipline, lateness, nights out, I'm not going to speculate, but there has been a lot of noise around Rashford and his application and tracking back. We've been able to see that he's not really tracked back to as much as people would have liked him to. To say that the transition hasn't started yet, I think is wrong. And obviously, he's not there. So he's been excluded from the first team since December. So he doesn't actually know, unless he's being fed that information from like former teammates and the players at the club or whatever, he doesn't actually know that that started because he's been a victim of that transition actually happening. So how I kind of took that point was, again, he's kicking the boot in. No, I'm not saying he did it through malice or whatever, because I think a lot of what he said, if anything, he really came across strongly as a fan. I really like that. He seemed very happy. He seemed very excited. I really wish him very well. But it's like the actual transition's not started yet. I think that was true for the entire time up until he kind of left the first team. That's kind of what that was the thing that stuck with me most, really. And maybe he can't see it yet, as Ben says here. Maybe he can't see it yet because he's not been there. Not been there. I think, unfortunately, he checked out by then. And maybe, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that he wasn't wrong to kind of feel the way that he's felt, because he has seen every iteration of United over and over again. What he's saying, people say we've been in a transition for years, but you have to start the transition. United have jumped from plan to plan to plan. And all Marcus Rashford has seen during his time as a first-team player at Manchester United up until December last year was that jumping from plan to plan to plan. So that is his experience of it. I just think it's quite ironic, really, that he's saying that now. And I think most people who are watching United now, especially after the summer as well, like I think Ineos really have, with the way that they've been acting in the transfer market, I think Ineos have started to kind of bring people on side and started to make people believe that, hey, we are actually acting differently. Some things are actually changing, But just in general, I think Marcus Rashford, the way that he looked incredibly happy, the smile he had on his face, all this kind of stuff, the fact that he's got this move to Barcelona, he has a chance to go on and seal a permanent move there. He has a chance to get back in the England squad. He is a very, very good footballer on his day, Rob used to say on the channel that he was world class. I'd never quite agreed with that because I think, as has been pointed out there somewhere, he's a bit patchy, always has been a bit patchy. If he can be consistent, and he's coming into like 27, 28 now, the kind of peak years of his career, he should really... Niche fan, that's an interesting one. Interesting one. Just pointing this out. I completely agree with him when he said the transition hasn't started yet. It can only truly begin when we have one singular owner. That's a fair point. I don't agree necessarily. Don't agree. Obviously, there is that part that needs to still change and needs to happen, needs to come. But the football side of the operation has changed. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You saw the unveiling of the training ground. It was definitely no Glazer family members there, from what I think most of us could see, and that was pretty much verified from people who were there. But yeah, he's given like the goals he scored, the moments that he's given to the football club, so good. You know, so many great moments. His day was the exception to the rule, Scott. He's never had a full great season. Even his 30-goal season was a 3-month spell where he was awful and before and after it. Yeah, true. Absolutely true. But yeah, I think most people now are starting to think, and maybe this change after Sunday, if United lose to Arsenal, maybe people just default back to, this isn't changing, it's still crap, you know, if United lose that game. But I think most people can see the differences that are being made. And that's one thing that I have said from the very beginning on this channel, not this channel, on the old channel, on the podcast. When I've talked on the podcast, give this lot time to turn things around. It's not going to, you see how big these contracts are, how difficult they are to get rid of. How can you change a culture, really, if you can't get players out? Because, like, no clubs are going to take 300 grand a week contracts off you, like, just easily. I have said a few times, I don't think you'll actually see the best side of Manchester United until those, like, really difficult contracts are completely off the books. Those players are gone, and they've managed to correct the wage structure. That's kind of my take on it, but I think United are actually moving in that direction now. So it's interesting to see how this goes. But I think most people now are starting to see that. Marcus says, Ineos have been present up front this whole time, but people didn't believe them or like what they were doing to get the club back on its feet. Nobody did like what they were doing, you know? Nobody can sit there and defend it because people were suffering. But at the same time, you can bring the other side of the argument that United have more staff than any other football club in England by a significant margin, right? So if you're looking to kind of, well, we know the financial situation, all this stuff, like cutting costs, and while one person's wage isn't going to make a difference a lot, like you saw how many staff they kind of got rid of. Horrible stuff. It's horrible stuff, but it does make a difference to the bottom line as a whole. That Salford says, liked and subbed. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate it. Yes, that's the right one, Jonathan. I didn't like what Ineos was doing, but at least you can see why they were doing it. Yes. It has seemed like it's been a bloated kind of operation, bloated wages, wrong personalities, even like to the point where, you know, a player would do, even Marcus Rashford maybe falls into this, that has a really good patch for 3 months after not really performing for a little while and gets a 5-year contract as a high earner. Phil Jones is out for ages, then gets a contract extension. You know, doesn't make a lot of sense. And they are the kind of decisions that United were making. Now, it seems like we've got people in charge of the football club who are making the right decisions for the benefit of the football club. Did you guys see this? That where is it now? I saw this pop up earlier. Where was it? I just saw an update on Sancho, but it's the same thing. There's footage out of Benjamin Sesko in training as well. Interesting. But there was Benjamin Sesko's agent has been talking in an interview. And I found this quite interesting. He said of Matt Hargreaves that he was a really, really tough negotiator. You know? So United they've been famously really crap at negotiating over the past few years and very soft and always caving into demands and this kind of thing. But to get that from Sesko's agent also said Benji's dream was always Man United, despite the Arsenal links and the Arsenal interest. It was his wish for years now. They wanted to go to Bundesliga first for 2 years and then join a Premier League club or move to the Premier League. And ideally, it would have been Manchester United. Just got a message coming through a second. I'll be back with you in a second. Apologies, guys. I'm going out after this, and my friend is late, so I can stay a little bit longer. But right, let's see. Robbie says, "Have you super chats yet, Scott?" No option here. Not yet, because the channel isn't big enough, unfortunately. So I need more subscribers in order to do that. I would really appreciate if you could subscribe if you've not done so already, because I need to hit like certain thresholds on subscribers. It's not about Baleba, unfortunately. It's just a mate from home that I haven't seen for a little while. But add in more subscribers. So please, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel, because for that question there, for Robbie to donate super chats, I need more subscribers. So thanks very much, Robbie, for the intent and for the all that. But I think I need a little bit more time yet. Thank you very much. When you had Butt versus Murta and they chose Murta wouldn't happen under Ineos. I'm feeling Stephanie's quite famous in the. Okay, here we go. Everything Rashford says is calculated to improve his brand. Many high-profile footballers do charity work, but don't talk about that, and that's when he changed. But good luck to him elsewhere. I'm seeing that. And Ben says, Stephanie, I feel like we should have rolled out the red carpet here. I wasn't aware of your notoriety. I'm not aware either. So please explain. What about memberships, Ben or Scott? Could we get them on the go? Again, I think the channel needs to be bigger. We're not far away from it. So I'm finding that the live streams are a lot easier. Like there's a lot of people joining now. I think there's more people than I've actually had. Steph is a multi-mod legend. Okay, good to know. Good to know. If you do want a mod or whatever, Ben has very kindly offered to join if you would like to. I keep meaning to get around to this. I know that there's a few of you who would like to do it. I'd really appreciate it, but I keep forgetting to come around to it with your kind of usernames and that kind of thing. So shoot me a DM or shoot me a comment, and I'll kind of look at adding more people. But yeah, who was talking about Arsenal there? Hesty said, I'm so confused. Wasn't Cecil quite favouring moving to Arsenal in June? Yes, I think he would have taken that move there, but United weren't in the race for him at that point, were they? I think we all knew that United wanted 2 10s to start with, and striker was on the agenda as well. But United have tracked Sesko for years. Like United dating back to when he was joining Salzburg and these kinds of places. I think United were in for him then, but obviously he didn't want to make the move too early. But United have remained in contact with Sesko for a good few years. And Niche fan, could you make your backdrop a tastefully curated homage to Man United? So just for you guys here and for Niche fan, this backdrop here, I'm not in my own property at the moment. I'm staying with my parents for like this week, and I've already taken the mirror down off the wall in order to do this. So I can't like put all this stuff up. I'm moving into a new place in September. I'm going on holiday for a week, and I will still do like live streams where I can from holiday from next week, because I anticipate there's going to be a lot happening over the course of that time with the transfer window. I'll be away for when the transfer window closes, so there's going to be a lot happening. But yes, I will then at some point in the future, perhaps next month, make the background more suitable. And I need a new camera as well. But yes, it's all in the planning, guys. So this channel will hopefully start to grow, and this channel will hopefully have that kind of background that you're asking for there. The subscribers are going up quite slowly, but yeah, really appreciate it, guys. I'll maybe take some more questions for I'm only going out for food, man. I'm only going out for food, Rob. So I keep getting distracted by your comments. Sorry, but it's really good that these are all rolling in. It's completely new for me. Like I've been able to, like, for you guys who maybe don't know, but I have like I've worked for a football brand for a long time. We did have our own kind of dynamic of like, United fan versus Arsenal fan, Liverpool fan, all this kind of stuff. So we did get a hell of a lot of live comments during that, but I think trying to do this myself while talking at the same time is a little bit difficult. So I'm still trying to, as Harsh says here, hey there, mate, here from the good old 90 Min days, like the stream guys, one of the rather sensible, calmer fans with much more sensible approach. Thank you very much, mate. That is what I try and give to you. That's what I try and give to you. I haven't even tweeted that I'm doing this podcast. So thanks for finding me. Thanks for subscribing, everybody. Curry tonight? No, I don't think it is. I think we're going to like one of those like food marketplaces. So you get lots of different options. So maybe there is a curry that I can have tonight. But I have eaten a lot so far this week. Did I move to the new house? Not yet. No. This is the in between, and I'm away for 2 weeks in another country from Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So I'm not going to be in this place until like September the 4th, I don't think. So it's a long time. Do you have regular stream times? But bell is on, so won't matter. I'll find you again. Thank you very much. Yeah, hit the notification bell if you've not done so already. I have been like streaming around 5 p.m. UK time recently, because I think this is probably, I asked people who were actually here in the very starting days of the channel. I think the general idea was like around 5 p.m. UK times. I am open to doing different ones at different times of the day and this kind of thing, but not yet. I don't think I will have a regular time slot until September, really. So that's another 2.5, 3 weeks or whatever. But it is intended. I do want to actually make this a proper YouTube channel. Hopefully, providing people keep coming back. Zakia says, been following you for a while. Your take is top notch. Please, this channel needs to grow more. Big up, Scott. Glad to catch you live. Thank you very much, mate. As much as it annoyed me, sometimes I do miss Scott saying something terrible about the club. Terrible, sensible about the club, to be interrupted by Harry or Grizz waffling. You just know exactly what would happen at the moment. Yeah, you guys who have found me from 90 Min, yes, that is exactly what happens. Ironically, I think my valuation of 70 million on Marcus Rashford and Harry's valuation of 30 million on Marcus Rashford, I think there's somewhere in the middle in the end. It was good fun, though. It was really good fun. I did enjoy it. But I think, that kind of ended towards the back end of last year. So Suvik says, Scott's true value comes across when the season starts and we inevitably drop a few points. Most people are always losing their shit. It's exhausting. Scott is fantastic and balanced. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Really do. If Baleba doesn't happen, who needs to be sacked? Everybody. There you go. Have some of that. I'm not... I'm not fantastic and balanced there. Everyone. Harry's interview? I haven't seen. Have I missed something? You'll have to let me know. You're talking about Harry Simeon there. Harry Maguire's interview. Yes. Yes. Harry Maguire, I thought he represented himself really, really well on that Rio Ferdinand podcast. And I think the line where he said about United being the most hated club in the country or whatever, I think really struck. He just comes across as a really good guy, you know? Soggy's getting it. Like, just completely... Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place, but you guys are keeping your comments throwing in, and I really, really appreciate it. But right, I'm probably going to have to shoot off soon. I think maybe I'll answer Zakia's question here before I go. I could go for ages more, but I have to kind of right. Any questions you want to ask me, get them in now. Zakia says, "Are you a Baleba? And if it doesn't happen, do we move for someone else or wait for him till next year?" I think that this will happen, and I think United should. I think they will strike a deal, and I don't actually mind how much it is, but obviously within reason. But I think if Brighton take the mick a little bit, as long as United are finding a structured deal here, I do think the player is like. I don't think there's another player on the market really who can come in and offer the kind of impact that he will be able to. Almost 100 live likes. Great indicator of a good channel, great show. Thank you very much, Stephanie. If you have not liked the stream already, then please do, because I would like to get to that. We're still a hell of a way off, actually. But if you're not like the stream already, please do that. I will get you guys we chatting about. Have a great night in the food market. Thank you very, very much. Cautious believer is Suvik. Harsh says, how much time do you give the new regime until you judge the team's performance more on the field than off it? I don't think that this will be fixed, really. And you could say I'm way too patient here, but I don't think this will be fixed, really, until those contracts are off the books and you get a good amount of time after. You can, like, end of this season where the Casemiro contract is off the books and all this kind of stuff. When it's it is their club really now, but at the same time, they're still dealing with a lot of problems from the old guard. So I really think that you just need patience and just need time. Of course, on-field performance will really help. On-field performance will really help. Niche fan says, thoughts on Ten Hag saying Ronaldo wasn't the problem. He's going to say that, and he's just not going to cause a stir there because he knows that he will never hear the end of it if he didn't shut that down. Jonathan, what's the lineup for Arsenal? Onana, Yoro, De Ligt, Shaw, Ahmad, Mainu, Ugarte, Dorgu, Bruno, Cunha, and Mbumo, I think. I don't think we see Sesko to start with. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we did. I think there's been some like games behind closed doors over the last few days, and maybe Sesko's, they're trying to get him up to speed because they need that focal point in attack. So maybe he does start, but then I don't know. Do you do that Maino, that Bruno Ugarte or Bruno Casemiro midfield straight away against Arsenal? I don't know. I got the Dominican, Daz. Got the Dominican on next Wednesday. But yeah, I think this is the way that you judge it. I'm still keeping the 2028 in mind because that's the year that they've started. They want to win the league that year, the 150-year anniversary. Zakir, would you take Donnarumma? Nah, not now. I think the other day I could see why United would have entertained the deal, but I think with how much money he wants and the fact that I think he is a little bit overrated and can make mistakes, I think there is that. And those two worries are on my mind, so I'm kind of glad that they've distanced themselves from him. Robbie says, I'm all in on the Ruben train here. I'd have stuck with him if we were relegated. The wheel needs to be broken. In the next 5 years or so, we'll be back. Patience, and real patience for once. Yes, agreed. Completely. Mike says, hi, Scott. Very happy with the club in general, but worried we spent over 200 million and only fixed the attack. Baleba's a must. I only think they need two more signings this year. And yes, that's a hell of a lot of money, obviously. For Baleba, whatever that's going to cost, I would just do it. And Lamans as well, I think, is the other player. MDL can't start and this team has to be Maguire or we can't get about our own end. Maybe. We'll see. I feel we'll fizzle out against Arsenal without a striker. Yeah, I know, I agree, but I think bringing Sesko in off the bench. Look, Amorim might be so desperate for a striker that he just throws him straight in. I could definitely see that happening. How do you see United season panning out next season? Will the majority of fans lose patience with one more manager? I think that will definitely happen at some point. I don't think United will be perfect next season, but I do think that there's the fact that they're not in Europe. I think that there is a real chance for them to make an impact in the league. I think I picked them to finish 5th. That's a bit optimistic. I don't know. But that's dependent on a midfielder coming in. And I do think they will get a midfielder. That's why I made the pick. The Lamans stuff went quiet. Is it still on? I think with this one, and this is just a gut feeling, that they know what the deal is and they are waiting until the end of the window to do it. And obviously it might be it depends on if a goalkeeper goes as well. Don't know. Yeah, if Bayendia goes or whatever, then maybe they'll do that deal. But I think that they know what that deal is pretty much straight away. They already know what it is, and I think they're just waiting for the right time to do it. And obviously, they'll want to do Baleba first, I think. Right. I'm going to have to shoot there, guys, because it's been an hour and 5 minutes, but I really appreciate it. I will try and be back to do a live tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I'll definitely do a podcast tomorrow, so you can check out the podcast on audio. The links are in the description just underneath. Apple, Spotify, all these different places. If you want the audio version of this, give that a 5-star review, leave a comment and all that kind of stuff. And Ben says here, well played, everyone. Our best likes yet. We'll smash 100 next time. Thanks to everyone who has joined. Honestly, I do really appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. It's been really fun today, even though I've been trying to follow this at the same time and been kind of going off piece with a lot of stuff that I'm talking about. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Please like on the way out if you've not done so. Subscribe to the channel on the way out. And I will let you know. Hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss a show. I will try and be back tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier, to talk about what Ruben Amorim said in his press conference and this kind of thing. But great show. Great show, Stephanie. Great show, Jonathan. Thank you very much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll catch you soon for another episode of TPL Live. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Have a great night. And hopefully this Sancho deal gets done. And hopefully Baleba gets done soon as well. See you soon.